Go, we're live on YouTube.
Okay. Just stalling. I'm just finishing up some PRs. Wait, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to close my messages. I bet Casey just like set his alarm like for exactly 12 p.m. He's going to be really
That's
groggy.
still a little bit
when he
early.
comes up.
He's already on Singapore time.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I'm slowly making my way east.
Yeah.
So I started in Germany, then I went south to Italy. Now I'm going to Turkey, then Dubai, and then Singapore. And then I'll be actually almost on the Singapore time without any jet lag.
Nice. I'll meet you over in Singapore 2 weeks. In my case, Laura and I are going to Singapore, and then we're going to just keep going west to Amsterdam. So we're going to circumnavigate.
Oh shit.
We're going to circumnavigate the whole world.
Going west is definitely easier. I don't know, from a jet lag perspective. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to stay up a bit longer, or it feels like staying up longer. Whereas going east, just like it like fucks with me. It doesn't make sense. There's no way to recover. Yeah, I didn't want to do so much traveling this year, but now it's gotten a lot again. I don't know. I have to be more disciplined next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, while we wait for Casey, I'm just gonna have some.
Wait for him, and I'm
text
going to.
I'm working on the. So I want to finish this PR, add the multi-parent support to Wallet. It's basically done, but Casey wants more tests, so I'm writing one more test. And yeah, then we want to merge some PRs, and then we want to make a release because we got a really nice index improvement. We let a really smart person loose on the code base. And
Is this the same smart person Casey referenced last time?
Yeah, it's the same one. His name is mconst. Yeah, that's a pseudonym or whatever.
Cool. Well, we're live everywhere now. I'll post those links. Yeah, just everybody know this is recorded and streamed live, so don't say anything stupid. Well, you're encouraged to say things that are stupid. Just don't say anything.
Don't tell that to Casey.
Yeah.
But he's uncancelable.
By now, yeah. If he's made it this far,
he's made it this far. Yeah.
The only thing that stands between him and world domination is getting up and
getting up on time.
Getting up on time. The final boss.
Final boss. Add paginates to address page.
Yo.
I'm here. What's up?
You made it.
How's it going?
Good.
Nice.
Good. Tell the people how you are, Casey. How you doing? Good morning.
Morning. What are you guys doing?
We're talking about how you're uncancelable.
Are you sure? Yo.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure if I said some wild shit, I could get canceled. What's up, Flo?
No, we said you're
I re-downloaded Baldur's Gate. I feel like I just lost a month of life. Like I have no outside of work.
You really do have like a serious gaming addiction. Like it's.
Yeah.
I mean, although I should say that I do have a Stardew Valley save with like, I think like 120 hours on it. And I only downloaded it. I only started playing it a few weeks ago. Like, it's pretty bad.
I do. I've played.
Oh, I did though. Maybe leave it paused for like a while.
Like days?
Yeah, yeah, like days, maybe. Yeah. So I think my hours played may be inflated. Yep.
Okay, continue.
Don't let us get in the way. We'll shut up so you guys can go do your thing. Raf's
Listen, I don't have anything interesting.
we have
Raph, what the fuck are you
international
doing?
coverage.
I'm just writing tests. But yeah, we wanted to. I was just killing time until you were there.
Test for what?
For a PR, I want to get merged.
What PR?
The add multi-parent support to wallets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You basically approved it. I'm just adding one more test, so we can just merge it, and then it's
Which
good.
was like different modes. That's what it was.
Yeah, different. I'm gonna add like where I etch with multiple parents,
Mhm.
and see if that works. It should work. And yeah, just some permutations. And then another PR we can look at is this: give us your best inscription examples, to see if this is ready to go. It's just yeah, community effort. Add some examples for specific types of inscriptions. Yeah, and then another PR is the I don't know if we can get this. Yeah, I just reviewed it. There's still some tests missing. And then there's this PR to add a new recursive endpoint, and then we can make a release.
Oh wait, we're not just making a release.
We have like 2 hours before you have to hop off, so we can do a little bit of stuff.
I hate this. Like, oh, we've got to do shit before you make it. Are these PRs like important enough? What are the PRs you want to put into the release?
I do want the multi-parent support because then I'm done with it. Then I can just like.
I know you want the multi-parent support, but like, this is the thing. This is a consistent source. This is a consistent source of friction between me and Raph, and I'm right, and Raph is wrong. But
what is
but I unwisely made Raph the lead maintainer, so I have to listen to him. But I think
you're just lazy.
No, I'm not lazy. Releases are easy. There's no reason.
I guess. Yeah, I was just checking.
We could literally do a release now and then do a release whenever it's appropriate to do another release. We can do another release. That's the thing. It's not that like. So I feel like
sometimes it's annoying if like the index schema changed and then people have to rebuild. But if I just checking that none of the PRs change the index schema, so it should be fine.
Do these PRs change the index schema?
I'm just checking. Let me check.
Isn't Deviloft one of the folks a huge fan of the multi-parent? I mean, disclosure, I am too. We'll bring him up here, see it's his thoughts.
I mean, it's already in the indexer, so it's already indexing. I don't know if Deviloft has already integrated it on his nice little.
If I may, I'm going to bring Deviloft up. Just
go
trusted.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going good. Just, I guess.
Yeah, I heard Charlie had a question about multi-parents. What's up, Charlie?
Hey, well, it's just how urgent is chime in on the release schedule between Raph and Casey. Be a bit of an arbiter here.
I'm sorry. I'm actually a horribly biased person to ask because if anything, the longer it takes for OR to integrate it into the wallet, the better it is because it's already being indexed. And with my platform supporting it being kind of a wallet equivalent, it's monopoly position.
So I guess I'm voted out here. So I guess we just make a release, and then I add.
Well, I actually think competition is good, and I really think there should be an open source support for it. However, I agree with Casey that there is no need for that to be holding up the release. I think considering that you have just changed the schema for tracking Satoshi indices, you probably would actually benefit from having that be in a separate release than the multi-parent wallet because it seems like a big change. You don't really want a lot of big changes happening simultaneously in the same release.
Yeah. What do you guys think of looking at these examples? I mean, this is kind of a fun thing you can do on stream before we do the release.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah, let's
try it. So yeah, I'm just gonna check this PR out. Oops. 37. Let's check this one out. Let's pull in the latest changes. Update the branch, just serve docs. Oh yeah, and we also got some new languages for the docs, I think. I think we got Italian and Netherlands. Examples. Okay. Casey, you want to have a look?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have, I'm just going to look at the docs directly. We can like click on them and see if all the links work. On-chain inscription examples. I'm just thinking maybe just inscription examples.
Yeah, I think just inscription examples.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong PR. God damn it, over here. Inscription examples. Oh wait, I'm just gonna change it here. Docs. Where is the? Is it in build? Oh. Source. There we are. Where's examples? Overview. Oh, is it in guides? Examples. Here we go. Inscription examples. Okay. Cool. Delegates. We have delegates, metadata. Metadata, provenance, and recursion. Delegate, we have oscillations. Let's have a look at these. Wait, no, this does not work.
No gamma links.
This is not okay. No,
Ordinals
fucking,
links only.
okay, whatever. I will. God damn it! It can only be ordinals links, guys.
There are links to inscriptions. That's just like a headline link. So you can just literally delete that head inscription. What the fuck? Markdown.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. I downloaded something and now my fucking markdown is like so weird and confusing.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. This is the worst.
It's horrible. But I literally think you can just delete the that link. Like if you're editing it, just make it
just be like v oscillation star and then just get rid of like all of this.
Yeah.
Collection oscillation star collection uses delegate provenance. And this is an ordinals link. It's an ordinals link. Okay.
Dude, can you fix your markdown preview? Like this is heinous.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
Dima
agree.
says markdown giving me epilepsy. But it also
like
looks
this
cool.
is the worst. No, it looks horrible. Yeah, this is the culprit. I could type this would be better. Wait, what? Why is it not deleting? Just deleted this. Markdown. Okay, sorry about this. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of it.
Dude, are you serious? What did you do?
I don't know. I just installed something a while back, and I don't know.
Set ft equals text.
Okay. Okay. Just serve docs. This inscription utilizes the delegate. Does it have a delegate? It doesn't have a delegate. Okay.
Yeah, damn, do it. This might take a while.
This is gonna take a while. Whatever. I don't feel like doing this right now. This is just. I have to check all the links. This is stupid. I will do this on my own time.
Sure.
I thought this was gonna be nice and easy, but it's not. Okay, so I guess we just go through the commits, or should we do the release first and then go through the commits?
Do the release first and then go through the commits. If you really do have something that's like close to being ready, like we can.
Well, this I'm waiting for tests. This I just want to close. This is like adds a new recursive endpoint which needs review.
Yeah.
Then this is like I need to check all the links. This I need to write another test. All the other stuff is basically already merged. So it's like whatever.
Okay, let's do a release then. Yeah.
Release first and then go through the commits?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Casey, you want to do the release?
Sure. Yep. Da, 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 da. Share my screen. All right, let's see. We're doing a release. We're doing a release of Ord. I haven't done anything crazy in my command line history. Git pull upstream master. Git push to origin just because. All right. Yeah, it's not really interesting, but I have this little thing hidden in the README, which helps me remember what needs to be done for a release. So this is indeed 0.20, because it is a schema change. It is a breaking version. Let's take a look at the dependencies. This just checks if Ord has any outdated dependencies. Some of them are hard to update because they change in dramatic ways. In particular, the Bitcoin crate changed a lot, and I believe Axum, Request, Rust TLS are all stuck, like HTTP related things. But sysinfo is probably something that we can update. I will just run lcheck to make sure. Yep. And then the Ordinals crate. Oh, interesting. The Derive More crate hit 1.0. Let's see if the API broke.
It's actually good that we didn't merge the docs PR yet, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to add something.
At least one Derive feature must be enabled. Okay, interesting. So this, it looks like this crate, Derive More, now has mandatory features. So let's see where we are using it. We are deriving display and from string. So it looks like now we have to add feature flags. Derive more impl. Yeah, so it looks like now this crate just has features which are named the same as the derives that you want. So let's add these as features. Stir. Interesting. Why did these not conflict before?
Which ones?
These did not conflict. We are importing display and from stir. One version from the standard library and one from derive more. Maybe one is a derive macro and one isn't. But in any case, we can. It's kind of unfortunate, but
Looks ugly.
yeah, it does.
But it's pretty nice that you can derive display with that crate. Because that's normally a bit more work.
Okay. Bitcoin request. These are all things that stay behind. Request, stay behind. We're gonna have to do a really painful update of all those things at some point. But today is not that day. Okay. And now we can update the changelog. Changelog. This is incredibly exciting. Dev slog work. This is the changelog. It contains a list of all the changes that has happened in each version. September is the 9th month. It is the 3rd day of the 9th month. Damn, I think this goes in MISC. Because it's not
Wait.
Actually we have a performance
I mean, so the unified thing, it got rid of also the index spent outputs things. So like it only like the title is a little bit misleading. Like it removes flags. So it is actually changed. I think it's a change thing, not a, because that's important to like, oh shit, okay, that flag is gone.
The thing is that I don't think anybody has ever used index spent sats, so I think it's probably better to put it in performance. I literally don't think anybody has ever built the index that way.
Yeah, I know that the DZ Inc. guys tried to build it, but I never heard back from them, so I assume it didn't go well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were like up to like 3 terabytes or something, and then they stopped.
Yeah. Add Dutch translation, add SAT balance to address API. Bitcoin core deploy, migrate archive snafu, make first and last sat. Okay. And last 7-inch clickable. List all Bitcoin Core wallets. This is added, right? This is some new command.
Which one?
List all Bitcoin Core wallets.
That's a command I added. So like before, if you have like a bunch of Ord wallets, there's no, like you would have to like CD to Bitcoin to wallets and then do an ls, and all this does that for you. So it lists all the Bitcoin Core wallets. I wanted to add a feature where it only lists Ordinals wallets, but that's more involved because in order to figure out if it's an Ordinal wallet, I need to load the wallet in Bitcoin Core, and that takes a while. And then I need to check that the descriptor matches our descriptor. And then have to load every single wallet you have in order to check the descriptor, which is kind of a pain. There must be a faster way, but I haven't figured it out yet. But anyways, like if you do Ord wallets, then it'll show you all the wallets you have. Makes it nicer to kind of manage a bunch of Ord wallets.
Fix rune links for runes with no symbol.
Yeah, there was, I don't know, it was just a bug. If no symbol was picked, then the link was broken. I forget what exactly was wrong there.
Huh. Oh, interesting. It just had no link. Huh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all it was.
Yep. Change log added.
Charlie, what is this?
Wait, what? Oh, sorry. I'm shitposting in the chat to keep things lively.
HTTP localhost.
It's a cursor meme. You know the code.
So good. Yeah. I have Casey. I have sinned. I downloaded this new NeoVim plugin called Avante.
Yeah, I wanted to try that. How is it?
I literally did it today, and I think that's what broke my Markdown shit. It's.
I know it has a Markdown. It has a dependency for rendering Markdown.
Yeah, I just did the default install. I was like, whatever. I just want to try this out, and I think that's the thing that broke my Markdown thing. I still haven't figured out my nice key bindings for it. So it like opens up a side window. It kind of works. You can ask it stuff, and you can move around like in NeoVim. But it's not very the flow is not there for me yet. And then you can highlight text like and then directly have a key binding to like I think it's leader AA, and then you can like ask about the highlighted section or be like, oh, refactor this to do that. So it is nicely integrated. I want to kind of learn and make better key bindings so that I can use it more often. But I learned that like yesterday or something. So yeah, try it out. And I connected it to Claude.
Did you need to sign up for Pro or some?
Yeah, API? You need to like go to console.claude or something, console.claude.ai, and then that's an extra account, and then you load it up with money, and then you pay basically for every token you send. So it's like separate from your main account, which was very confusing to me. I was like, what the hell? I have to like pay for two things. But it is what it is. I guess it's a different type, it's like where you just pipe in tokens. Whereas why would the text interface be different? I don't know. But yeah, everyone is becoming a cursor dev. Even the NeoVim devs.
Let me sign into GitHub real quick. When do we go to 1.0 on Ord?
Never. That's it. I don't know. I don't know. Isn't
I was
Linux? Isn't there some big library that never is at 1.0? Is it Linux? Is it the kernel? Are they at
no.
like 0.99 or some other big like?
Oh, I mean, there's Donald Knuth who does weird things. Although his like approach like pi or some shit because he's a weirdo.
You said months ago that I don't think we'll ever do 1.0, but feel free to change your mind.
Yeah, I'm sort of feeling a change of heart. Like like I don't see any big features on the horizon. It would be nice to broadcast stability. It would be nice to remove beta from the ordinals.com homepage. Um, the one thing that I don't want to do is normally on every breaking change to a piece of software, you increment the major version number. And so we have breaking changes whenever the database schema changes. And I don't want to go 1.0 and then immediately go to 2.0 because we did a breaking schema change. So I think we would have to have some sort of policy where the database schema is allowed to change in a minor version bump.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we'll change the database all the time, because it's such a low-level database. Like every time you do anything with the tables, the schema changes.
yeah.
I guess when let's do this release first.
Let me see. I'm curious why derive more now conflicts. I'm just going to make a note to check that out at some point.
I'm already on the job hunt.
What do you mean?
I just did bum 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 bum.
What does that mean? On the job hunt?
It's the McDonald's.
It's
the
so
McDonald's
down.
theme
Raph
sound.
went all in Wanko, and it's just down.
Yeah, I lost all my money, and now I have to make some money. So I'm
Damn.
looking for jobs at McDonald's.
I hear European McDonald's are way nicer than American McDonald's, though.
Yeah, my impression of America is that like the McDonald's is you don't go there.
I mean, McDonald's, I've been to McDonald's in many countries out of curiosity, and I think McDonald's is inedible trash in every country. And anybody who thinks otherwise and is like, oh, le Mac en français is just deluded. In Paris, they make fun of themselves, bro.
Oh, they're self-aware now.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go through the releases or the commits?
Yeah.
Okay, why not? A lot of these are boring. I'll just open all of them and then close the tabs one by one.
With biscuits, do you mean the buns?
No.
Biscuit.
Yeah, fun fact, because you brought it up, Bama Pie Baking Company, a few miles south of me, actually, makes all the biscuits for the breakfast stuff here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yet another reason to visit.
Oh yeah, the one good things, the breakfast menu in McDonald's does have good things. Like the hash browns are good. What's the one with the
M stamped
it's
on it.
like no, it's like it's a breakfast sandwich, but they have these like pancakes that tiny gnomes ejaculate maple syrup into the pancakes, so they're embedded with small pockets.
The McGriddle.
McGriddle?
The McGriddle.
Yeah, that's
Tiny
right. The
gnomes
McGriddle is
ejaculate maple syrup. Yeah, that's how they're made, actually. They make
Yeah,
those
it's a
in
Canadian
Tulsa. We actually have a a lot of huge tiny gnome population here.
Yeah. Scrambled egg flap. I can't believe they call it a egg flap. That's disgusting. All right, let's go through these PRs. So update Portuguese translation. Thank you, RX Archer, to all our Twitter users. Awesome. We really have no idea if these translations are any good. People just, put things.
I put 2 separate people that didn't know each other on this to check each other.
Good strat.
Yeah, and then I spot check. That's all I can do, really. I check that the links don't change, and I do spot checks. That's what I do.
Nice. Update Chinese. Sweet.
I mean, yeah, for the Chinese one, I'm always just like, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I don't know too many Chinese people to like spot
We
check
actually
each other.
have a Portuguese moderator on the Ordicord, A4 Pong. I'll connect you so he can just give you the officials.
Nice.
Apparently we were just fucking up links with runes that didn't have a currency symbol.
Yep.
On the address page, which is interesting. Unfortunate omission.
Oversight.
This removes SAT ranges. Only if you appear with the ranges flag. This is good because SAT ranges are very large, and you probably aren't interested in them. This we re-entered beta, so now we're back in beta from going into alpha again from the runes release. What is this?
Which one? Update pointer specification?
Yeah. Number of outputs. Okay. Pointer field contains the index of the output, which blah blah blah. Pointer field is output. Unallocated runes are transferred to the first non-op return output. If the pointer is greater than the number of outputs, the rune stone is a cenotaph. Interesting. This wasn't already covered in like reasons. Yeah, it's already covered here. Or let me see. Yeah, see, this needs to be formatted. Pointer field. Okay. Anyways, update to the pointer specification. Clarify that unused rune tags should not be used. Yep. Migrate. So Crypto9 has done a lot of good work migrating our errors to a library called Snafu, which encourages better error messages. So it should improve error messages. We're slowly improving error messages that you might get at the command line from running Ord to be more actionable. This was actually, I think, a bug that we fucked up the index settings. We have this unfortunate thing where the index options are set on creation and not updated. I actually think that we probably talked about this before, but I actually think that we should probably have a ord index init command, which is required to be run before you create a index where you set the options, and then that is the only thing that takes all of the index creation options, and then it's very clear, like, people don't get confused that they run it without a flag and then they later run it with a flag and the index is missing, or the index is missing an index because they didn't add the flag initially, even though they're using the flag now. That would actually probably be good, but this just makes it harder to misuse these things by renaming them. Don't unnecessarily insert into UTXO cache when indexing addresses. Okay. Moving trailing space from rune specification. Sure. Add headers for cross. This was like an aborted attempt to relax the headers that inscriptions are served with to enable some features. That it turned out not to be be a little bit insecure because it relaxes the cross origin isolation. And so they were reverted in this PR. So this was added and then removed. Apparently these headers allow you to use the shared audio, some audio buffer thing that you can't use if these headers aren't set. I actually think it would probably be easy to get these working, but the person who opened this PR couldn't figure it out, so we just removed it. Now there's a command to list wallets, or to wallets, pretty sweet. Now SAT ranges are clickable, and we removed the ranges page because otherwise it's just too long and annoying. More improvement of error messages. Update Bitcoin Core on the servers to 26.2.
I think 27 actually.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we did that. I'm making a note to myself to update the deployed core servers, because I think I did that on some machines, but not on all of them. And it'd be nice to be running the latest version. Adding SAT balance to address API. It's a new field. You can get the SAT balance when you get an address. Dutch translation of the manual, pretty nice. More error message improvements. Bump the version. Users go to the master branch on GitHub, and then they build the code from the master branch, and then they get confused that it's like not the release version, and that the version number is still the version of the old release number. And it's like, bro, what do you think the master branch is? The master branch is the dev bullshit pile. It's the dog shit, no guarantees, might fuck your computer in the ass pile, and like just anyways. But to help people not get confused, we will try to bump the versions to something ending in -dev, so that people don't get confused that the version is not the same. So the version isn't the same as the release branch. We have this enormous page on. We have all this bullshit here of the number of different content types, but it's incredibly long and nobody ever looks at it and makes this page ugly, so I just removed it. We'll do that last. Add an address field. Add inscriptions and rune detail in the rest. More stuff going into the APIs.
Yep.
Okay, and this is the big pyrotechnic finish to the release. So the smartest person I know, whose name is Michael, we have been paying him with the money that has been donated to the Open Ordinals Institute as a consultant. And he's not cheap. He charges his hourly rate is $325 an hour. And he also does fixed bids. So he's like, I will do this for this amount of money. And then you pay him that amount of money, and then he does it. But this is the best spent money on earth. Okay, your donations are so effective when the money goes to Michael Constant, like unbelievably effective, because he is the smartest person on earth. So we previously paid him to work on. I think me and Raf actually paid him out of pocket to do the review on runes, and he found a bunch of random issues. No major like structural things, but he found a divide by zero. He found some overflows. And he encouraged me to make the encoding much, much stricter, which I did, which I think was good. Didn't he do the unsignable runes? No. Unsiphonable runes. No, that was actually Devil Loft, who I first talked to, who had that idea for how to do that. Anyway, so we paid him to do consulting on runes. Is that the only thing that we did before this one, Raph?
Yeah, runes was the main thing.
So recently we were like, hey, the index is very slow. Why don't you take a look at Ord and see if you can try to make it faster? And so he did a bunch of really good work. The first stuff that he did, he wound up digging into ReadyB, which is the low-level key value store that stores all the data in the index on disk. And he found a bunch of issues in ReadyB. Not really ReadyB's fault. These are all like very subtle things, and ReadyB is relatively new, so it is understandable. But he found a lot of subtle issues in ReadyB. This is like impressive. Like he looked at our index, profiled our index, and then dug into our super low-level dependency, into our dependencies code, to find issues with the dependency. So he, for example, found code.
Search for double commits. Yeah.
No, I can't
Or
search for
twice. Or twice.
Is this in here?
ReadyB. You can also search at the top.
Yep. So he found this. He found a issue in ReadyB where it wasn't reusing pages from the last transaction. And so we added, to work around that, we commit twice, so that then the last transaction, we sort of do an empty commit. So now it can reuse pages from the transaction before last. How much space in the database did this save? This saved like 50 gigs or something. What's up, Crypto9?
You could check if you log into the server. If you log into Alpha, it has the old index, and then you log into the new one, and then you can check the diff.
The new one is the latest commit, which includes more stuff.
What does it include?
It includes this PR.
Yeah, but the table made. Oh, you mean just the twice commit made it smaller? Oh yeah, I think it shaved off like 20 or 30 gigs, something like that. Maybe 50 in like really good cases, but like a bunch. Because the pages weren't freed. They were just, it was a memory leak, basically. Just like
it's not a memory leak.
It's not a memory leak, but like a disk space leak. I don't know what to call it.
They were, I wouldn't call it a leak because they were claimed eventually. Like it wasn't like ReadyB lost track of
it. It was a expansion.
Yeah. So he found that. He found other bugs in ReadyB, which we paid him to report to Chris, who's a friend of mine who wrote ReadyB. And M. Constant and I actually know Chris. We all went to school together. Me, M. Constant, Chris. So there's that. And he found a bunch of other stuff. He found like huge amounts of stuff. He found random bugs in Ord that we hadn't noticed. And then for his magnum opus, he did a bunch of profiling work, a bunch of performance profiling work. And he found that we had all of these separate tables in the index, which were all storing information about UTXOs, essentially. So they mapped like some outpoint or transaction or something to some data. So sat point to sequence number, outpoint to sat ranges, outpoint to TX out. And these are like the largest entries in the database. And so he, go ahead.
And not only are they the largest, but also the most frequented.
Yeah, that's right. So he merged them into one table, which stores everything about UTXO entries. So it'll store, if you're building with sat ranges, it'll store the sat ranges. If you are storing the addresses, it'll store the addresses. And if you are indexing inscriptions, it will store the the inscription information about inscriptions. I think we don't do any rune stuff. Transaction ID, yeah. So there's still some other things, but these other tables are relatively small. It was the inscriptions tables that are the big ones. So he unified them all, and this leads to a massive savings in database space. Let's see if I can find a table. Unfortunately, I think I deleted some old entries. Actually, we can just compare the indexes on Charlie and Alpha.
Yep.
Yep. So the previous index size is 278 gigabytes, and the new index size is 177 gigabytes. So 33%, greater than 33% reduction in the size of the index, which is fucking crazy. And it also builds a lot faster. So if we go to Charlie ordinals.net status and alpha.ordinals.net status. Am I in Charlie here? Yeah, Alpha and Charlie. Alpha, which is the old version, took 1 day and 16 hours to sync, and Charlie took 22 hours to sync. So almost a 50% reduction in the amount of in the sync time from, let's see, 24 plus 16 is 30 or 40 to 22. So yeah, about having the time it takes the index to build. So the index will now build twice as fast, and it is 100 gigabytes smaller, which is fucking crazy. Me and Chris, we went to lunch the other day and we were talking about this, and Chris is a very clever guy. Chris used to be the head of compute at OpenAI, so like responsible for literally designing and rolling out OpenAI's data centers, like absolute massive baller. And now he still works at OpenAI, but he's working on their new robotics division. He's like the head of their new robotics division. He's an incredibly productive engineer, like incredibly productive. I'm no slouch. You know, I'm a decent engineer when I'm motivated. When I'm not motivated, I'm a negative X engineer. But maybe when I'm really motivated, I'm a 10X engineer. And like mconst, which is the nickname of our friend Michael, he just like went into both of our code bases and then like glanced at them and found like major problems and ways that they can be improved. Just like he just looked at them and he was like, "Oh lol, you're retarded," and gave us like massive suggestions, including like ReadyB is a very hard library to understand. Like the transaction model for the database is very confusing. So mconst just went in there and was like, "Lol, like I now understand ReadyB's incredibly subtle transaction model, and your shit is broken." Like, and then also like me and Raph have had a lot of problems doing performance profiling for Ord. It's just very hard to profile it. It runs for a long time. There are sort of different eras that it goes through, which are very very different. So like, for example, like one problem is that you have these like initial sync where the chain is very empty, but that takes a long time. And then you go to the sort of medium period where the chain is more busy. The Bitcoin blockchain is like more busy. That's like multiple years, but there are no inscriptions. So the index is doing like different kinds of work. And then you go to the final period where the chain is full and there are lots of inscriptions. And then there's like a final period where now a year later, there's still lots of inscriptions and then lots of runes. So, you know, it takes a long time to build. It's hard to profile, blah, blah, blah. And I asked mconst like, "Hey, how did you do all this profiling work?" And he was like, "Lol, yeah, I just like put it on like perf top which is this view where you can sort of let it run and like it prints out the like what it's doing at the time. And I just like glanced at it periodically, and from there I figured out all of its problems. So it's like totally unactionable. Like I was hoping that he would have some tips that would help me out, and he did have some tips, but his main thing was just like be as smart as me and like run it in the background and look at it periodically and then figure it out. It's like the Feynman problem solving method. Like if you have a hard problem, first write down the problem and then think really hard and then write down the solution. Like fuck, bro.
Step 3 profit.
Yeah, step 3 profit. So yeah, so this is literally the best money spent ever in the history of any nonprofit. Okay, nonprofits are totally dysfunctional. They don't spend money well, but the Open Ordinals Institute is very lean. We spend money very well. Okay, we have these cheap ass servers in Ukraine. Okay, we pay Raf, who is doing a fucking pittance. Okay, Raf is out here like sucking dick. Okay, to make ends meet. Okay,
Working part-time at McDonald's.
gnome dick at the it's
Picking up
fluffing
shifts at
fluffing
McDonald's.
gnomes that impregnate the McGriddle flapjacks. Okay, out here, and we donate to MCons. And MCons is not cheap. I think this cost us like $8,000 or 7,000. Yeah, $8,000 about. But at
What I
100%,
hear is that OpenAI is working on Ordinals. This is what I hear.
essentially, yeah, that's basically
Essentially,
true.
yes.
OpenAI is behind Ordinals. But
Sam Altman is
Sam
working
Altman.
on
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's directionally correct, I would say.
This is the alpha you came to this
This
stream
is
for,
the-
guys.
Yeah, this is the alpha. So we're going to continue paying MCons basically as much work as he wants to do. There's probably other things.
He already
There's-
made a list of things he wants to do. Like he has a list.
Yeah.
So now we just have to throw money at him.
Yep. Yeah, the funny thing about MCons though is that he's also one of the most unambitious people I know. He he's very lazy. I've tried to convince him to like do things with me in the past or get him interested in working on something, and he's like, nah, I'd rather just chill. So I guess when your brain gets that big, like you get kind of zen. All right. So that is this PR. So this PR just kind of makes everything better. It is sort of a mixed bag in terms of code complexity.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it makes things a little bit better. The previous model where we would write to different tables was a bit tricky. We would have these different parts of the code that would all update tables in parallel, and they were kind of sensitive to the order in which they ran. And, like some parts of the code would rely on the fact that some other part of the code was going to like add an entry or delete an entry. And it was often kind of hard to figure that out. So now it sort of does it all. It like adds these things. It creates these new entries all at the end of the index step kind of running. We do have these new UTXO entry structs, which are a bit complicated because now they store multiple things in a flat buffer. But it is what it is.
Something they actually reuse the variant encoding from runes.
Yeah.
To store them efficiently. So he just reused the runes variant encoding and used it here for the table, which was very fun to see.
Yep. One thing I've noticed about very, very good engineers is one of the primary characteristics of all the extremely good engineers I know is practicality, actually. That they're very practical. MConst like got a complicated assignment, looked at the code base, and then suggested really the like simplest possible things that could be done to improve it. But I also think that that's a little bit like misleading. That observation is a little bit misleading in that, yes, the smartest engineers are practical, but it's not exactly that they have this attribute of practicality. It's that it is oftentimes very hard to find very simple solutions. You have to think really hard to find simple solutions. Like if you have a problem, there are a lot of complicated bad ways to solve it. and only a small number of very simple, good ways to solve it. So smart engineers appear practical because they are smart and they come up with these simple solutions. Yep. So this is the new code. It'll probably be a bit of a bitch to rebase on top of if you are maintaining a fork of Ord. So good luck and Godspeed. All right. That is it for the
Is the release out? Should I have a look?
no, I need to push it to GitHub.
Okay. GitHub Ordinals Ord.
Okay, there we go. All right, we have the change log. Date is correct. We have all.
You opened 2 TRs, Casey.
Oh, did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. How did I do that?
Maybe close one. You opened one before, and then you opened another one. But why wouldn't you
Yeah,
complain?
one of them is I accidentally created a branch on the Ord repo. Let me just delete this.
Oh.
Okay, closed. Now there's only one branch. So there's the change log. There is cargo.lock, which you don't need to look at. There's this. We should also remember to update the version, the dev version. Now we have this derive more import. Let's double check this again.
You should probably also update the ordinals crate.
Oh, did it change?
Yeah, the derive more.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that changed. That's so weird that that broke, but whatever. Yeah, people talking about the rat inscription. I was asked to make a inscription for the rat re-inscription set.
Do people just pass it around to each other?
I think it's passed around, or like they asked me, like, do you want the set, and then just inscribe yourself, or should we inscribe for you?
It was originally passed
You gotta
around.
inscribe yourself.
It was
I
originally
already
passed
told
around
Casey
to
my idea, but he doesn't. Casey thought my idea was mid, so I'm reworking that idea.
Well, the rat was originally passed around, and they got stuck in people's wallets, and they had to split it out a few times. And now I think Sanj does it for people, unless
Manages
they're
it.
Raf, who I think you could probably figure out how to reinscribe something, right, Raf?
Yeah, I think I should be able to manage that.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat, like Rosie, did it here. Yeah, a lot of folks.
You want to
Yeah.
review it, Raf?
Yeah, the PR. Yeah. Let's look at the Ordinals crate. Ordinals version 10. Ordinals version. Oh, derive more is now 1.0. Interesting.
Yep.
They made the jump after 99.
That's pretty sick. I like that. I respect that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. They literally waited until they couldn't do anymore, or I guess they could have done 100, but
100. That's fucking shameful. If you're like, bro,
100 is shameful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we go the same way. We go until 99 and then we do 100.
Yeah, I think so.
Or we do one. This looks good. This goes away. This looks good. Greater than you just formatted this. And then you fixed, you added, you changed. Yeah, looks good to me.
Cool. Oh, wait. They actually have a hint in the crate that it re-exports the standard library traits that it adds derive for. So you don't need to have multiple imports. So I can actually change this to be nicer. Drive more. So now if I do not import from stir and display and only import derive more from stir and display, and I can avoid that. Okay, that's nice. There we go. All right, release made. This is the other thing, is that a release always takes more time than you think, than one thinks. So we only have a limited time for the stream, so good to
It's okay. I already conceded, Casey.
I'm just mentioning, like, listen, it took us like 45 minutes just to make a release and like go over everything.
I mean, we were distracted by, I don't even know, things.
GitHub CI
What
is like
is the rune endpoint ordinal OS? What do you mean? Okay.
How good is this terminal alacrity? I like it. I like it because it is
Simple.
written in Rust, and using things in Rust makes me feel good. And it's
Warm and fuzzy feeling.
warm and fuzzy. And it's easy to configure. It runs everywhere. Doesn't really have any features, and I use it with Tmux. So like I don't use terminal like windows and splits and tabs because I have Tmux, so that kind of runs inside any terminal. So it's perfect for that because it doesn't contain any like extraneous stuff that I wouldn't use or have to turn off.
Oh, okay. Ordinal is asking about the address endpoint for inscriptions. And yeah, we're not going to add that because the address index is very new. And that would be a huge dependency on that. Still thinking when best to merge that or think about that. Okay, so you know what we're talking about? There's a proposal by ELOC to add the address inside of, and it's like make it possible for an inscription to query an address and then get information about that address.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, are we just being like, yo, there's a hard dependency now on the address index for inscriptions? That's the big change for that, is that if you want
before mconst made this nice change, like the address index was horrible. Like it added 100 gigs, and it made the made the index like 2 times slower. And now we're back to where we were before, but with the address index. And I think we want to improve the address index a little bit and test the performance a bit more before we say like, oh, okay. Because if we add it as a recursive endpoint, then every explorer, every marketplace, every wallet provider will have to run that as well. Which, like, when we started Ord, we already had inscriptions and sats, so that was like people had to build that. But now we're asking them to update and use and also use the address index. So that's not a thing you can just like snap your fingers and put it into the market. They kind of have to add it as well and kind of get familiar with it, add it into the infrastructure. So what we're hoping with the address index is that it replaces electors in the background. So most marketplaces that have these kind of lookup addresses, they have electors running in the background. Electors gives you the UTXOs, and then from the UTXOs, they ask Ord what is inside it. And now with the address index, you don't need electors, at least for most things. You still probably need it if you're doing like very high performance stuff, like looking up transactions and stuff like that. But yeah, we hope the address index basically makes infrastructure simpler. I'm using the address index in production and everywhere. It's nice. I'm gonna definitely update now to version 20 because it's an incredible performance increase. But yeah, until kind of that's kind of settled and well understood, we have to wait until adding kind of that type of recursive endpoint.
Dima asks, can you describe this electors? Do you mean Electrum OS?
Electors is so wait, let me. Can I share my screen,
I don't know what
Casey?
you mean.
Yeah.
So the Electrum protocol is a protocol basically that many open source projects implement, and it's a protocol where you can hand the server an address or hand the server a transaction, and then it returns information about the address, like the out points, the amount of Bitcoin, and electors is one implementation. So if we go to GitHub electors, this one, it's also written in Rust. So an efficient re-implementation of the Electrum server.
Okay,
exactly.
so it
So
is
it's the
Electrum,
Electrum
yeah,
server
it
or
is.
the Electrum protocol. Yeah. And I say electors because it's elec and then rs. And this is, I think, what most people use. And then there's Esplora, for example, Esplora
Gotcha.
from Blockstream, which is a fork of this. Esplora. Bitcoin, where is it? Here, this one. And this is just a fork of electors. And then they build some other stuff inside of it. And then, yeah, you can do the things you see here. Explore blocks, transactions, addresses. And with Ord, you can explore blocks. With Ord, you can explore transactions. And now with Ord, you can also explore addresses. So this Ord now kind of does a lot of this. It probably does a little bit less, like especially in transaction retrieval, or it still goes to Bitcoin Core to get transactions. We don't, I guess we have an index, a transactions index, but we don't really use it. So this is one thing we could kind of improve, and then we have the same features as Explorer or electors. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. At some point, when the address, when mconst, when we let them loose a little bit more on the index, and it gets really, really good, we'll write some kind of comparison between electors, Esplora, then there's another implementation, maybe Fulcrum, and kind of see how Ord compares to them, because then Ord is basically does almost the same thing as those servers.
Totally
Only
could be
that
in
you
the
get
pantheon of
the extra benefit of having ordinals and like having all the semantics of ordinals and runes in it. So when we get there, it's gonna, yeah, we hope it's gonna be competitive with those implementations. We'll see. ReDB for the win.
waiting until that one step closer to hyper ordinalization.
Yes. Exactly. For example, if you use Sparrow Wallet and you connect it to a server, not your own Bitcoin node, that connection it's talking, and that protocol, like the message that are passed between your Sparrow wallet and that server, that's the Electrum protocol, and then on the other side, that's the Electrum server. And Fulcrum is one, which is written in C++, then Electors, then Espora, and then there's, I think, 2 or 3 more. But yeah,
I
that's
often just
basically
connect my
how.
Sparrow to the Electrum, like the default Electrum.
Exactly.
Unless
Yeah,
unless I'm
I forget
connecting
what
my
the
own node,
default
but
one
it's
is.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I forget what the default one is, but
There's a few. There's a few. They
yeah, there's a few. Exactly. And at some point, you'll be able to connect it to an ORD server. Maybe we'll open up the API on ordinals.com if we feel like it,
Maybe
and then
that's how
people
you
can
guys
use the JSON
monetize
API.
it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could just open it up and see what happens. But then with monetizing, the problem is if you run a server, then you have to like guarantee uptime. You know, people are paying now directly for a service. So that basically involves a whole new job. And I don't want to focus on DevOps and doing that kind of stuff, which would mean like hiring someone who kind of manages that. Like, how do you get payments? How do you do all that kind of how do you hand out API keys? There's just like, as soon as you have to pay for this, it just adds a lot of
I'm
complexity. And
getting
I'm
anxious even
not sure if
hearing
it's
this.
worth the squeeze at this point. And we kind of like originally why we kind of disabled it is because we were like, okay, we want people to run their own servers. You know, we don't want people to rely on ordinals.com. We don't want to be in a situation where ordinals.com is like in Fura on Ethereum. So that was the initial thought behind it. Yeah. Let's see what else is in the chat. Need Dockerized ord for unraid server. It's very easy to create a Docker image. Like we have a barebone Docker image, which just copies the repo into the Docker image, builds it, and then copies the build into a clean, small Docker image. It's a very minimal Docker image. And then inside you have ord. And then you can build a Docker Compose file around it, which pipes in environment variables, all our settings, everything you can configure with environment variables, and you just pipe them in, and then you have your Docker setup. We don't like provide the perfect Docker image because everyone has their own little setups. Like every container service has their own requirements for how the Docker file is supposed to be structured. So we can't provide those for every permutation of that. So we provide a very, very basic one, and you can take that and like plug it in and like adapt it a little bit and then plug it into whatever service you want to use. And running an ORD server is really like, even like our servers, like as Casey said, we have some servers in Ukraine and in Germany, and I don't know, we pay like $100, maybe $150 for a server, and it's like a really powerful server. It has like 4 terabytes of SSD, 128 gigs of RAM, unlimited kind of bandwidth, like
Egress, the cool term.
Egress and ingress. So there is cheap providers. It's just that you have to be able to log into a Debian machine and be able to, do some commands in the command line, and then it's all set up. Of course, if you use stuff like, I don't know, DigitalOcean or Vultr or Amazon Web Services, you'll get poor because there's like these hidden costs of like, if you get really popular, all of a sudden you have all this traffic, and then like it's metered by how much traffic you get, and then all of a sudden you owe them $10,000.
Yeah.
It's very hidden, the cost in AWS. Like it's very convenient. That's why they make it convenient. They hook you on it, and then and they make it so that you don't even know that you're using Debian, but you should just learn how to use Linux and Debian, and then you can use every kind of server. You can like rent a cheap server in Ukraine, and it gets you the same thing.
And you can pay in Bitcoin too, right?
Yeah, that's why we chose it, because we have the funds in a Bitcoin multisig. And in the beginning, we didn't have a bank account. So we were like, okay, we need to pay for shit. And that was the only one of 2 I think we could find. And we were like, okay, let's just try this out. And it's worked out for us. Like it works pretty nice.
Feel that. My mining company got kicked out of our bank again, 6th time. Got a new bank. They love us.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 2024, still got these issues.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and Umbrel is just like the small node on the Raspberry Pi. I don't know if they have ORD support yet.
They do, yeah. They actually did pretty early on, so you can.
Yeah, I mean, you probably can't build a SAT on index even with the. I think the highest is the 16 gig version on the Raspberry Pi, or maybe 8, but that's not enough to build the SAT index or the address index. You can do the inscriptions and runes.
And you can run the
So yeah,
Explorer,
you can do
which is
inscriptions and runes. And you can also do only runes. That's really cheap. Only runes is like the index build maybe in an hour or two. Yeah, like super easy. Okay. What was I looking at? The RATSAT? Oh no, we were looking at the lectures. Okay, so yeah, that's the release. Let's check it out. Is it in the thingy? Casey, do you want to deploy to the other servers?
Yeah, we should.
Like, also make sure that the Bitcoin version is up to date. And
just
maybe
log in
yeah.
the on the releases page. Okay, releases out. Binary
Releases
should
out.
be.
Here you go, guys. Oh, look at this. We have the changelog in here. So everyone do a cargo install.
ETS says don't forget to bump the ORD version to dev after the release.
Yeah, fucking fine. Ugh.
Oh, release. What is this?
Okay, Raph, tiny PR updating the version to -dev.
Looks good to me. What the fuck is this? Transaction data, inputs and outputs. Yeah. I'll look at this later.
All right. Currently, Alpha and Bravo and Charlie are Alpha and Bravo is behind the load balancer. I guess we have to do it one at a time. So put Charlie behind the load balancer. Let me make sure that everything on Charlie is up to date first.
Oh, not my Twitter. Get away. The RATSAT. Okay, I'm gonna ask the chat. What do you guys? Casey doesn't like this idea. For the RATSAT, I want to make a a rat catcher recursive inscription, which loads all of the existing reinscriptions, and then there's like a small animation, and it just like, you know, catches all the rats. Like all the rats follow it. I don't know if you know the story about the rat catcher with the flute. Maybe it's a German. Maybe it's
the
a
Pied
German thing.
Piper.
The Pied Piper. Yeah, exactly. Like a Pied Piper thing.
The rat catcher, of course.
It's the Pied Piper. Yeah, sorry, it's the Pied Piper. In German, we call it the Rattenfänger. I think.
Okay, this is at
Maybe it's also
the,
called
the
something
rat
different, and
finger,
I just completely fucked it up.
finger.
It's called Fänger is catcher and rat is rat. Ratten is rats. So it's like it's the rat catcher. But maybe I'm completely fucking up. In Germany, it's not even called like that. Even called that. But yeah, the Pied Piper basically, and then it like walks all the rats around in a circle or something. I don't know. You guys like that idea, or is it boring?
I love the idea, but chat. What do you think? Chat. Ordinal OS. Hammer Jaeger.
Mousetrap. Yeah, but I haven't done anything on that yet. Do it. Yeah, I'll play around with it when I find some time. Like a mousetrap, the rat catcher. Make a rat shooter. Yeah, I could like load Doom, and instead of the robots, it shows the rats, and then you shoot the rats. These are all good options.
Doom might be expensive to put on chain. Well, I mean, Bitcoin's basically free now again. So.
Yeah, it's super cheap. I should mine some uncommon goods, mint some uncommon goods.
I think you should. I've been I've been acquiring some uncommon goods.
How have you been buying them?
I'm not buying. I'm minting.
Oh, you're minting. Interesting. It's better to mint than to buy?
Right now, you can mint. Well,
Yes.
I mean, as of yesterday, you could mint for like 5 to 10% under spot.
Nice.
And
That's
I
pretty
will
good.
shill our
Casey,
friend
have you
here on the
minted any
server.
uncommon goods?
Yeah.
No, not a single
I
fucking
think
one.
Casey owns 0 uncommon goods.
Our friend here on the server, LIFO, has one of the cheapest uncommon goods minting services. In fact, I think he will.
The Rune Blaster?
LIFO, or as Casey says, LIFO, FIFO. Yeah, he waives his subscription service fee.
Oh, his fee.
Yeah, for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should try out Rune Blaster for uncommon goods.
Yeah.
Seems like a good idea.
Also, Rune Blaster is the most
Get
fun
myself
game ever.
some.
I'm just blasting runes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rebuild on Charlie because I made some changes to the schema version, which I fucked up temporarily, and the fixed version got committed, but I had changed the key of the schema retardedly to something other than 0. I'd done this before, which makes it which fucks up checking old versions. Yeah. Anyways, I changed the schema number. I changed it back. I fixed it. But I'm rebuilding on Charlie now. I have to rebuild on Charlie.
Oh, okay.
How do we do this? We have 3 machines. Is it okay to put we can't have 2 different machines on 2 different versions behind the load balancer.
Yeah, that would not be good. It has happened before.
Oh yeah, we rebuild and copy. So
yeah, exactly. Just build it on Charlie like one more time, and then tomorrow, me or you will copy it over to the other machines and then restart them.
Yep. Okay. I'll make a note to remember to do that. Okay. So it's rebuilding on Charlie now. Nice, fresh index.
Aaron's in the chat. GM Aaron.
GM.
So yeah, anyone who is running infrastructure, I'm very interested to know if it replaces electors for you, if anyone is here in the stream. And if so, just...
Bro, I
don't think
that we should ever get anybody to use Ord instead of electors. Like, how does that...
Why not?
Just all these fucking problems, and it's slow, and like I'm doing some bullshit, and like...
But I mean, if you run a ordinal service, you need to run Ord anyways.
Right.
And ord needs to run correctly anyways. It's not like ord is like a nice little thing to have. Ord is the thing you need.
Yeah.
So like instead of having this electors running, which is also a huge database, I think Explorer is like 800 gigs or something insane. I mean, they also store the transaction index, so it's like whatever. So instead of like managing different services, you just manage ord, and then you use that. Like maybe I'm thinking about this too simply. Maybe electors provides more stuff that people need. Maybe it has some cool socket interface where it like really easily streams new events and like nice features like that. But if what I want to know from people is like just send me a DM or something if it works for them, and if not, what is missing in ord. Yeah.
Okay. Bump dev version done.
I'm gonna deploy the new version as well on my servers. It's gonna be lit.
Mahmood says for wallet providers, transaction history plus. I think they might
Yeah.
be over at Xverse. Text.
Yeah, transaction history. Yeah. So we have the index transactions flag, but yeah, we don't have like an endpoint which gives you history. But theoretically, you could get it. But then you have to get it from Bitcoin Core. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. We could think about the transaction index, make it actually more usable. Yeah.
All right, what should we do now? I have a little bit of time. We can hang out.
Okay.
We'd be on 1.0 if Casey didn't self-love. Yeah, accurate. Any questions from audience, chat? Does anybody have any burning questions?
You could tell the chat about your new project or not if it's not ready.
I mean, it's a weird project. I don't know how interesting it is. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to. It's very weird at this point. Like, I want to improve file sharing. I was working on this like file sharing network and media server, like integrated file sharing network and media server. I'd implemented this feature that was very complicated and was slowing down development. And so then after much hair pulling, I ripped it out.
And whining about it to me.
Whining constantly to Raph. Yeah. And then after I ripped it out, this large feature, which was making development slow. What's that on my t-shirt? Dude, I don't fucking know. But the one thing that I can confirm is that it is not jizz. That is the message that I would like to send to the audience, that I have a white thing on my shirt, but it is not jizz. Okay? It is neither my jizz, nor it is the jizz of another man. I think it's like flour or toothpaste or some shit. Okay? Listen.
You're just digging yourself a grave here. As soon as you deny something, it becomes more true.
Okay, I can neither confirm nor deny that it is jizz.
You already went down the wrong path here.
I say jizz. I fucking say jizz. Anyways, but so after I ripped out this feature, which is very complicated and was slowing everything down, I then had a long, hard look at the project, and I was like, this whole project is too complicated. I'm never going to finish this. I'm never going to get it to a state where I can start getting users. It's really important that when you're working on a project, you relatively quickly get to a point where it's useful for somebody and you can start getting some initial users. And I just all jizzed up. That's right. And I wonder if the Rust Jizz crate is available. Bro, the jizz crate.
Is it available?
Wait, just a second.
Get it quick before I do it.
On a delay.
Casey is one of the biggest crate hoggers. Or what do you say? Crate? Name
Crate
hoggers?
squatters.
Squatters, not hoggers. Lol.
Okay, the Jibs crate is no
English
longer available. I took it. I have like a repo which is literally there so I can quickly squat a crate. Like it's like very few keystrokes to start squatting a crate. Ooh, cum. Oh my god, no, cum has to be taken.
If it's not
Oh my
taken,
God.
Yeah, cum is
talk
gotta be
about
taken.
talk about like
Cumulative
namespace
operation.
domain squatting.
I have, yeah, there is, but they're pretty tolerant because they don't have any resources to deal with the problem. I have
Casey
two.
is the problem.
I have no, not really. I actually do make things like the real domain squatters. They have a like whatever, but I have 2 single letter Rust crates. 2.
Damn.
Okay, I have J, and then I have X, the crown jewel of single letters, bro.
Damn.
J and X, get fucked, all you fucking retards. I'm the fucking
You
king
can
of
sell it to Elon Musk for like 10 million.
yeah, that's right, yeah. Anyways, so the project is too complicated. I was like, oh, I have to scope it down. Okay. And my whole thesis for this project is that the reason file sharing sucks, like peer-to-peer file sharing, the reason it sucks, everybody cares, Aaron. Aaron, I'm gonna mute you. Okay. How do I
We
penalize
can
Aaron in
time
some
her
sort of
out. We can time her out for, let's see, 60 seconds. That sounds good.
yeah. Time Aaron out.
Time's out. Damn.
Get wrecked.
We're silencing female voices again here. Wasn't that on the last podcast?
Yeah. If a woman ever shows her face in this server, okay, instant timeout.
Not haram.
Yeah. So, anyways, the idea behind this whole project is that file sharing sucks because there is no good machine readable metadata in the packages that people release on file sharing networks like BitTorrent and Usenet. So why is Netflix easy to build? Well, the reason Netflix is easy to build is they have a huge collection of videos that are all in fixed formats and a huge collection of metadata, structured machine readable metadata that follows a schema of that metadata. And so the front end is really easy to build. The user types in a search request. You search the database for the structured metadata. You can return good results, and then you have things like cover images. And when the user clicks play, you have a video that you can directly stream to the user because it's in a known format that's known to work in the browser. This is why Netflix is good, and the reason why BitTorrent is not good is that kind of experience would be very hard to reproduce. Because that kind of experience would be very hard to reproduce because there's no machine readable metadata. After you download a bunch of torrents, you have no idea what they are. You can guess what they are based on the title. You can't play them in the browser because guess what? All the videos are different formats. Tons of formats don't work in the browser. So you can't build this very nice front end. So that was the hypothesis. And the idea was that I was going to build this alternative file sharing network and this alternative media server, which honestly, as I say it sounds fucking crazy because it's so much fucking work, that would use structured metadata and enforce structured metadata. But that's too much work. So this alternative way of doing it, which is much, much simpler, is actually to write a tool, just a command line tool for packaging things before you release them to like BitTorrent or Usenet or any other thing that allows you to create just the packages and include machine readable, but it might write machine readable metadata. And also it does some other things like verify that the files allow end users to verify that the torrents are correct. So this is much harder because although it does implement the core of the idea, or much different, it implements the core of the idea. It's much easier, but it's very hard to demonstrate like why users should want to do this. Because if I just have this command line tool, there aren't any apps or any file sharing networks that take advantage of this. Your BitTorrent client doesn't understand it. Your media server doesn't understand it. It's like, okay, I can add these this metadata to these packages for release, but like there's no benefit to doing so. So it's much harder. I have to get people to adopt it and also simultaneously try to solve this like chicken and egg problem. But I think that maybe I can do that because currently when people release things on file sharing networks, oftentimes they have these things called .sfv files, which are these like checksum files that check if files are valid. And SFV is like terrible for many reasons. So I think that if I can produce a good alternative to SFV, I can get, how do I put this? I can get people to adopt it just because it's a better alternative to SFV. And then if I have a lot of users who are using it because it's a better alternative to SFV, I can also add the structured metadata and get those users to start using the structured metadata because it's very easy, like minimal benefit to, it'll be more work to help them rebuild lost and damaged pieces too. That includes extra work. That includes including what's called parity data, which I may do. But anyways, so this lets you, what the fuck am I talking about? If I can get people to use it because it's a better alternative to SFV, maybe I can also start getting them to include machine readable metadata. And then it would be easy to start building services that start using this metadata if it starts popping up in torrents. So it's much simpler in terms of reaching an MVP than my previous version, but it's harder to get people to, a bit harder to get people to adopt it because it kind of does less. So yeah, anyways, that's what I'm working on. It's called FilePack. You can go to github.com/kc/filepack or go to filepack.com because I fucking bought the domain.
With a CK or just a K?
FilePack, so spelled correctly.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, HTTPS doesn't work yet. I need to make a website for it. But anyways, I called it FilePack because it's like kind of generic, so it can do multiple things. SFV cannot rebuild lost and damaged pieces too. You need SFV files, and in addition, you need a PAR file. Crypto9 asks. Anyways, so the Google search results are terrible for this, so I think I can get to the top of Google search very quickly. It's sort of self-explanatory. And then the file name is going to be called filepack.json, and so users who encounter this file can search for FilePack and will probably see this at the top of the search results in not too long. So currently it only has the create and verify commands to create a FilePack manifest and then to verify files against the FilePack manifest. I'm adding new features. And I think actually I don't know if it's going to accomplish my lofty file sharing goals, but I think this will be very popular among programmers because a very easy way to make a popular open source project is to find a commonly used command line utility that does not have an alternative that is shiny and written in Rust and write a version of it in Rust. And currently there is no good SFV or SHA-SUM checker that is written in Rust. So I think that I can actually just get people to start adopting this. The question is, I think that I can get like programmers to adopt it, but the question is can I get I can get programmers to adopt it.
Can you get a Charlie to use it? It's like I'm not
Charlie.
No, yeah, because like I can follow instructions on a command.
You could use it. I don't know if you would have any reason to use it because you probably don't verify the integrity of your files.
No, I've done it once. I watched a YouTube video on how to do it with Bitcoin Core, and then I was like, okay, great.
I mean, when people download like Sparrow, they do the checks. No?
Yep.
Don't you?
Yeah, but
I mean, Charlie, do you do it? Do you do the SHA-SUM and the GPG verify?
I've done it with one version of Sparrow for a very specific reason. Yeah, but I mean that was before Ordinals.
Stretch goal would be to have Bitcoin Core include a filepack.json in their releases and sign up on filepack.json. Now, I don't think that they would do that. It would be a huge lift to get them to adopt it. But you know, who knows? Because it'll also eventually be able to verify signatures conveniently. So yeah, that is the plan. That is what I'm working on now. And it feels good because the previous iteration of it was just way too big. I was never going to finish it. I was never, ever, ever going to finish it.
Question: does it still
But, yeah.
feel fresh? Like you need something fresh to work on, Casey. Does it still feel fresh now that you've been working on it for 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, it feels fresh. And I've been working on it for longer than 2 or 3 months because I've had this idea for a long time. And I've had other, like, two major attempts and false starts on this, like, fixed file sharing thing. And this is also a backdoor way to try to get Bitcoin adopted by everybody. The reason that nobody uses Bitcoin is because there's no reason to use Bitcoin for, you know, commercial transactions. But what is really Bitcoin really good for? Bitcoin is really good for paying for illegal things. What are illegal things that people like? Well, there's drugs. Okay, so that's like darknet markets. But drugs you've got to send over the mail, so it's not ideal, right? You want something digital that you can pay for. Okay, so if you have an illegal digital thing that everybody wants, then Bitcoin will be adopted for payments. People will absolutely fucking use the Lightning Network for payments. Yeah, virtually, yeah, but Bitcoin is good for, it's a panopticon. Privacy is horrendous, but one of the main things that makes dollars bad for payments, digital dollars bad for payments, is that they're censorable and locked down. That's one of the primary things. So also Lightning has really good privacy if you work at it. So anyways, what's a digital legal thing that everybody wants is free fucking shit. Okay, is like illegal file shared fucking content. You want to download the fucking Sopranos, you want to download some fucking porn, you want to download some video games, whatever. Okay, so but you need something that people will want to buy. Okay, but nobody wants to buy like access to BitTorrent or access to Usenet in its current form because it's too fucking hard to use and the user interface sucks. So if I can fix the user interface for file sharing, then all of a sudden there will be this illegal shit that people want to buy that has a good interface and it's digital, and people will start using Bitcoin for it. The other thing is that downloading illegal shit is a tort, not a crime. Okay, this is very important. So it means that somebody has to sue you. It's not like the cops come to your house. It's like
It's
people
civil,
have,
not criminal, is what you're trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
say.
Civil infraction is called a tort, and like
Okay.
so
Yeah, but
criminal
people don't know, like civil versus criminal. Like that's the normal distinction people do.
criminal is you commit crimes and you're a criminal, and the cops come after you, the government comes after you. Civil is you commit torts and you're a tortfeasor, which doesn't really have the same oomph, and a private party has to sue you. So that's another reason why it's good. And I feel a bit more comfortable talking about it because I don't think there's any way that I'm going to fucking go to jail for this, no matter how much fucking illegal shit people do with it. Versus the previous version where it's actually making a file sharing network and a, you know, whatever. So we'll see. That's the, this is the current plan. So yeah, when I go to jail, make sure to send me commissary money so I can buy mackerels and shit.
I'll send you uncommon goods.
And
Nice.
tuna. Oh, you said torta, right? Not tort? I'm just kidding. Okay.
That's good. That's
That,
not
well,
a, is
that's
that a,
Spanish for civil civil lawsuit.
yeah, torta.
That's dope.
All right,
I think
unless
this
there's
is really
anything
cool.
else, I think that I'm gonna dip. What did you say, Charlie?
Oh no, this is really cool. I love seeing what you're working on.
All right, should we call it? Bitcoin doesn't integrate directly into the file sharing aspect. The idea is that people can build illegal services that people will want, or peer-to-peer file sharing services that people want to pay for. Whereas currently it's pretty hard to do that because the UI is not great.
Basically, you're gonna in 10 years, 90% of all Bitcoin transactions will be in some way derivative from something Casey is. This is just the reality. Deal with it.
I like that idea. I love seeing these like blocks in mempool.space that are, damn, bro. Wait, check this out. Literally on mempool.space,
Dude, it's just uncommon goods right now. It's only uncommon goods.
there's a full block that is flawless runes only. Flawless runes block. Who will mine the first flawless
That's
runes
a
block?
pure block right there, baby.
That's a
That's
pure
a
block.
pure.
It's a pure. Well, I will say that Mimple.space doesn't show all the transactions in there. There's a few more below that, I think, that just maybe aren't displayed. So if someone wants to go through and actually make sure that there's no impure transactions in that block, best.
Any thoughts on output-based pointer, something like tag 4, when instead of specifying the Satoshi index, you specify the output index of the TX and automatically gets attached to the first set of the output? It would make variable output size and envelope catenation much simpler. Interesting. Is that yeah, interesting. That would be a new even tag. And since we already did the Jubilee and we don't want to repeat it, the way that we would have to do that is with like a future block height activation. So I think since it just gets you, I understand the desire, right? You can make outputs, but it doesn't really help that much. Like you can generate your envelopes ahead of time, but you still have to know which index they're going to attach to. So it kind of lets you, it simplifies your code a little bit. It doesn't simplify it that much because it you still have to, if you want to like reorder them, you would still have to change them. So I think probably like that would be a nice feature, but the juice is not worth the squeeze at this point. I think that actually a better version of that would be that. No, yeah, I think I was going to say a better version, but I think that it would be complicated. Yeah. Definitely scenarios where there are other inputs that offset everything as value, don't know a priori, I hear you. Yeah. I think it's good, and maybe we would have changed things. If we were to do everything from the beginning, I would probably say actually like mandatory pointers. Like pointers are always mandatory, and an inscription is unbound if it does not have a pointer. Just to simplify things. All right, shall we call it?
Let's call it. I'm really glad
think
we
so.
did the Ordinals Coding Club again. I'm glad
Yeah.
things move forwards.
Download the new version, try it out, and enjoy the index savings, which we didn't have anything to do with. That's all MConst.
Yeah. We're just.
This makes me feel less bad about dropping out of college. Yeah, because you've got this fucking loser jizz-stained dev, and you're like, whatever. At least I'm not that guy.
Shout out to the
Allegedly jizz. Allegedly jizz.
shout out to the
It's confirmed now.
Ordicord mods
Over.
and everybody who's been helping out with tech support. It's gotten pretty slow the past few weeks, but I think we're all enjoying some full night's sleep. So
Yeah.
It's August and September. Nothing gets done in these months.
that's
It's
why
fucking
we're going to
dead, bro.
Singapore, baby.
Yeah. Singapore going to be
Run it
lit.
back.
Or goes.